We call it the Interact Builder,
Interact
and
Builder.
it's a cross-platform. It will run on Windows and Mac, and it's coming out in January. And it will let anyone build interactive books and publish those books on their own devices. We'll also have a special program that you can sign up for the Interact Publisher, which will let you take the books that you built using the Interact Builder and publish them on our platform, so you can actually sell your own books on our platform.
When we were watching you go through the ABC book, there was a lot of nuance and a lot of fine shading. Is that just layers and layers and layers?
Yeah, it's a lot of layers, and through this experience I learned a lot more than I ever thought I'd learn about graphics and layering properly, and making sure that animations look correct, because it's easy to get that wrong. So
very fine movements and
yeah, a lot of fine movements, a lot of as you said, a lot of little nuances in such a small book. But this book really, what it allowed us to do was it allowed us to not only test the engine itself, but also test our tool that we use to put the book together. So as we were building this book, we were perfecting both the engine as well as perfecting our Interact Builder product.
Children's books and illustrated children's picture books particularly are a natural showcase for this kind of technology.
Absolutely.
And you're bringing it out, but you intend to use the application or let it be used by users for all different kinds of published content.
We do see a lot of uses for this technology. Right now, there's certainly Kindle, there's iBooks, there's Nook, and all of those are platforms for delivering digital books. But those books, the user can't interact with those books other than turning a page. What we're introducing is a platform for interactive books. So if you have a book that you want to have any type of interaction, it could be an interactive travel book, it could be an interactive reference book, it could be an interactive recipe book. There's so many ideas out there. We're looking very heavily into and already working on a couple projects specifically for the educational market. So think of your traditional textbooks, but they're actually interactive. So you get to a page that's talking about an algebra equation, and you can actually perform and do something in the book right then and there. So it really keeps the children engaged, but it's even fun for adults. So we do see that there's a market for not just children's books, but it goes way beyond that. And when we release the Interact Builder, we certainly see a lot more markets that will probably open up, probably things that we haven't even thought of, because there's a lot of creative people out there. And once they have the right tools, they'll come up with ideas that we never even thought of. So that's what I'm most excited about, is to see, well, what are people going to do with our platform? Because I think it's going to be things that I haven't even thought of, so it will be a lot of fun.
The elements, the moving parts, as we see them now, are, you went through the list a minute ago, but they're sound, text, animation. What were some of the others that you see?
Yeah, so the basic element is a graphic element.
Element.
And each element, as I call them, so our pages are composed of elements.
Okay.
And I can have a graphic element, I can have an audio element, I can have an animation element, I can have a text element, I can have a web page element.
Would there be a video element possibly?
There is a video element that's coming, absolutely.
And these are pieces the user, for example, the person who's creating his own, doing the Interact Builder, can plug in to his content.
Exactly. So basically you get all your elements. You start by saying, I want to build a book. And then you just say, I want to build a new page. And that page, you tell it, okay, here's my elements. And you just drag those elements in. So they can be graphics, or you can write some text. And then once you have those elements defined, you simply define what I call the interaction for the element and the behavior. So an example on the second page, when we tapped the duck, it quacked.
Right.
So not only that, when we tapped the duck, it opened its mouth. So
yes.
Right, it does a few things. So the duck is our element, right? It's a graphic element. The interaction is tap. It's a single tap. We have different interactions: double tap, tap, drag. A whole set of different interactions. And the behavior is, in this case, our two behaviors that we defined. We said when the user taps that duck, play the sound quack, and change the graphic to the duck that it has an open mouth.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And we even also had another behavior, if you notice, which was the drag. So when the user on the interaction drag, we let the user move that duck around and play with it. So that's really a
And it wasn't just spot to spot on the screen. It was very incremental movement. It was just
and
very fluid.
right, and that's part of the beauty of the platform, the iPad platform. So I
Uh-huh.
can't take credit for that. I mean, that's where the iPad and iPhone have revolutionized the whole touchscreen environment and multi-touch, as they call it. So we of course are leveraging their technology to be able to deliver very smooth movement, very responsive applications.